Hello, captains, and welcome to the Colbert, the legendary light French cruiser. Yes, this is not a cruiser that normally fits this line, but it's the only legendary French cruiser that we have, which is why I have it featured in this line. However, it really doesn't belong here. And you're about to see why when we look at all the stats and stuff. Also, that little clip prior that you saw me taking out the Des Moines with 10 Citadels was actually from a very early video that I did in the Colbert. I think it was the third video I ever made. Not exactly up to snuff with some of the things that I do today, but it was a good game. So if you want to check it out, I'm going to leave a link in the description, or you can just search for it. Just look for the Colbert video at near the very first one I've ever done. So here we go. Let's take a look at the commander, shall we? Because we're playing a completely different ship style, we're going to be featuring a whole different commander that I think really fits well with the way that this ship kind of performs. And we're building it all into speed, and you want to stay at range, so that's why I have what I have. On to the mod slots. For the first, we're doing a AA gun mod. You'll understand why here in a sec. And in the second, we're using propulsion mod. The third, we're using our steering gears to make us very maneuverable, because you're going to need to be. And then the last, we're going to try and lower the already ridiculously low reload. The consumables that we have the sonar in, well, you could pick defensive AA, but I wouldn't. Again, you'll see why. But you have sonar, no radar, an engine speed boost that brings it up to 20% extra speed when you're using it, plus the repair parties, which I would say are pretty much average, normal heals. On to the actual ship stats themselves. The Colbert is not very healthy. Its hit points are 36,000 barely. It has a low torpedo damage reduction at 10%. You're about to see that the quote-unquote armor looks impressive, but we'll break down for why it's really not. Now on to the artillery. You have 127 millimeters, so not the 203s that you're used to with the St. Louis and the Charles Martel before it, with a sub 3-second reload and a range of over 17 kilometers and a fire setting chance of 10%, which feels a lot higher. It is a ridiculous HE spammer, and you're going to need to stay at range. You'll understand why here soon. So that's your guns, which is pretty much the bread and butter, because you have no torpedoes in this, as you can see. We're going straight onto the AA defense, which is very, very good, starting at 6.2 kilometers and getting the rest of it at 5.4. This is a really good AA boat. Onto the maneuverability, and this is why you spec into speed, because you're going to need it. 37.6 knots at the sub base before the engine speed boost is active. A very tight turning circle radius at 620. Rudder shift time is 5.5 seconds, which is not the lowest you can get, but it works for what I do with it. Now, your concealment is going to take a hit because we're not speccing into it at all, and at 12.9 kilometers via sea, it's not that great. You're going to get spotted relatively early in this thing, and there are several cruisers out there that will outspot you. There are some that won't, like the heavier ones, but the Colbert is not the stealthiest of ships. So just keep that in mind. I have a 58% win rate with almost at 50 battles played in the Colbert. It's not my best ship, but it's not the worst either. So there you go. On to the armor. And at first glance, when you look at the armor, it looks very, very strong. And on paper, it is. 32 millimeters that wrap around the entire thing is very good and can bounce 16-inch shells. However, this big, huge blue section sitting on top, smack dab in the middle, is your superstructure, and it is loaded with HP, and it's very lightly armored. And so because you have a low health pool already, it makes it really easy to chunk this thing. Now, technically you can bounce correctly, but when you're going up against things like Yamatos and Musashis that have higher calibers that can punch through your bow, that becomes a very dangerous thing to go up against. Okay, captains, here we go. We are on the map Shatter. We're by ourselves, and we're on our favorite game mode, Capture the Base. Not really. You guys know how much I don't like these. But anyway, we're going to make the best of it, and this is going to be a game in which we are going to be essentially trying to claw our way back the whole game. You'll understand why as the game goes on. But here, right off the bat, the Shimakaze that's right in front of us is not moving and doesn't even have any camouflage, so that's always a wonderful sight to see. The gearing, though, is heading straight up the middle, and we have this Brindisi here that looks like it's pushing out wide to the right. Now, the Brindisi has a much better concealment than I do. So here at the very beginning, because there are no objectives, there are no places to capture other than the bases themselves, and because this destroyer wasn't exactly starting whenever the game started, I wasn't exactly sure where I was going to be most needed. So I was thinking about supporting the gearing, but again, I don't have radar. I can't spot destroyers from long distances, and I'm definitely going to get lit up, but well before I'm able to personally spot any destroyers. So I was planning on going up the middle, but then I decided to turn out and try to stay at range and utilize the high DPM that I have as I get spotted, letting my team know. I did know that this Schlieffen is out here. He's already taken shots at me, and his secondaries are going off. So it's definitely a secondary build Schlieffen, which is pretty much par for the course. It's kind of understood. You see a Schlieffen out there, they're going to be built for secondaries because they're amazing. You've seen the Schlieffen featured on this channel before. That whole line is just fantastic. So, but we're going to just stay at range, and we're just going to keep shooting this guy, and he is just getting absolutely focused. He's already pretty much at half health, so our team has done a fantastic job of welcoming this guy to the game. So thanks for being here. He does have some heals, and he has limited damage cons. As you saw, we set a double fire, or we set a fire on him and he put it out. And now we're going to try and get another fire on him, which we are successful in doing right there. And what do you know? It's a double. So there's a double for you. And that one's going to stick for a little bit it's going to force him to have to burn another one yet again. It looks like the Shimakaze was able to throw torpedoes on the Schlieffen and take him out. So now that Schlieffen is gone. And that is the only time that we are going to be up in this match. At this point, you're going to start seeing all of our blue ships start to just whittle away and fizzle out and die. This destroyer that's right here off my left, I don't know what's going on, but he got himself spotted, and he is getting focused, and he is low as we lose our Shimakaze in the middle to that Shimakaze. And our gearing is also gone. So right off the bat, we take out their Schlieffen battleship, and we lose two of our very important destroyers. As you saw in this game, there's 4 destroyers per side per team, and losing half of them pretty much right at the beginning of the game, well, that kind of feels like a normal legendary match, doesn't it? So now that this Brindisi and I are out here on the flank, we don't really have anything that can help spot for us anymore. So what do? There's no objectives. Wasn't quite sure what to do. So I'm just kind of holding still right now until we can kind of figure out what the play is. I get spotted, so I'm assuming it has to do with the Shimakaze that's out here, and I'm correct. And he gets a little ballsy and shoots at us. So that's not exactly the strategy that I would have employed if I was that Shimakaze. But in doing so, he kind of baits the Brindisi out here, which he was already making that turn anyway, and gets nailed with two torpedoes, which severely cripples his health. and kind of reading the tea leaves of this situation, the Shimakaze, unless he just makes a boneheaded play, can basically stay unspotted, keeping me lit. And then these other ships that are out here, one's in Alaska, the other is a Conqueror, they can absolutely pretty much have their way with me. But I'm still trying to stay at range because that's the strong suit of this boat. It's not. There's a love-hate relationship with the Colbert, as there's a massive wave of torpedoes coming in, and that Brindisi takes another one, and unfortunately, I believe that's a permanent flood now against that Brindisi, as he just took 2 earlier, and more than likely damage con that. So there he goes. He falls to a flood, and now we're down 3 ships, and all 3 of them went down pretty much on this side. So I'm pretty much all alone out here, and that's not ideal. So like I was saying before, I'm kind of reading the tea leaves of this situation. I'm thankful that these 2 ships are behind islands, so they can't exactly take shots at me right this second. And of course, as I say that, they take shots at me. But a couple of destroyers are being spotted in the middle, so we're going to make our way back over there. We've got to start eliminating these ships because I don't want a bad situation to get worse. Thankfully, our Yamato takes that destroyer out, so that's 1 less for them, which is great. Not the best destroyer play on either side, as we lose a Kurfürst right there. And we're just kind of peppering this Conqueror while he's lit. Not exactly sure who is keeping him spotted, but while he's up and we have shots, we're going to take them, especially since they're free. And any opportunity we can get to set fires is just only going to help. So I believe we were only able to get 1 fire on that. But here we're coming back around, and we see our destroyer and battleship out here that's basically trying to hold the base to prevent this push by the destroyers. And the Shimakaze that had been causing a lot of difficulty for us gets another nasty torpedo hit strike against our battleship. It's not looking good, folks. I mean, we haven't really been able to accomplish much of anything, and they've kind of been able to have their way with us up to this point. And there our Yamato goes down. So look at the ship count right now. It's 4v7. 4v7. We have got ourselves quite a hole to dig out of. And how many of you at this point, be honest, would have reserved yourself to the fact that, yeah, this isn't a win? There's no way. There's no way that we can come back from this. It's too insurmountable. People are going to have to start making some severe mistakes on the Reds in order for this to work. But our Yugumo takes out another ship, which now brings it down from 4-7 to now a 4-6. We're staying at range. We're keeping our stern as low profile as we can as we lose our gearings. Now it's 3v6. So definitely not ideal. I know that destroyer's right there. So I'm just kind of taking some blind shots because I have no idea if he's pushing out. And if anything, I'm just kind of letting that destroyer player know, I know you're there. So don't try to make any fancy moves. I don't know if that's really going to help or work, but you never know. So it's just us 3 left. Me, a Yugumo, and a Worcester. So 2 really good fire spammers and 1 destroyer that has good torpedoes, but more importantly can spot for us if we can get to a position where we can. And I got to be honest, us 3, we do what I did not think we could do. And we're going to claw this back. So just absolutely incredible teamwork from here on out. We do the unthinkable, and we're going to bring this all the way back. So there is a ship that is contesting inside the cap, which I can only assume is the Shimakaze destroyer from earlier, as the shots that are coming in is from the Minotaur that's still in their base. However, they're going to start moving up. There is a destroyer that's out there, and oddly enough, it's not the only one. As this Shimakaze makes a fatal play by coming out and getting spotted by our Yugamo, and we are able to get shots on him and take him out. So we're trying to figure out the makeup of where everybody is at. So there's one less ship, bringing it from a 3v6 to a 3v5. I know that there's a destroyer that's out there. And at this point, I'm just trying to understand and figure out what is the best engagement. However, the second destroyer pops up. So these two guys have got to go. Both the Khabarovsk and the Z-46. Those torpedoes were definitely from the Z-46. We're trying to take him out. But because these shells are a little floaty in nature and at range, they can be a little problematic. However, our Worcester does a fantastic job of taking him out. And now it's just the Cobb that's out here. He is focusing our Yugamo, so we have definitely got to take him out as we are peppering him. And again, as a collective effort, we take all three destroyers, and although we're down in score, the ships are now tied. So all three destroyers, the Shimakaze, the Z-46, and the Khabarovsk, all went down within a minute, which was huge. However, now the base is being captured yet again. I know it's not the Conqueror, and I know it's not the Alaska, because, well, at first I didn't think it was the Alaska. He's barely in the cap, so it more than likely can be him. However, the torpedoes are coming in from the left-hand side, and in the moment, I was thinking that this was the Minotaur that had decided to come all the way up from their base to now our side as we accelerate and move past those shells at the Alaska shot, which is why I have propulsion mod on most of my ships, because I want to be able to get up and going. However, I don't have any more utility. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, I've exhausted all of my heals, my hydros, and my speed boosts. So I am all guns and maneuverability, and that's it. And I can get a damage con off if I need it. But here I'm hydroed, which is the Minotaur. He is I'm definitely within 4.9 clicks, I believe, which is the Minotaur's radar, which is a very strong ship, especially up close. He has a ton of torpedoes, while I don't even have a single one. He has really fast-firing AP short-fused shells. I have really fast-firing guns too, but if I don't angle correctly, he can absolutely wipe me out really fast. If there was one ship I would not want to go up against up close, it's the Minotaur. Yet, this is the hand that I'm dealt. This is what I have to do. And as you can see, I'm trying to maneuver around this corner. I know he's close. I just don't know exactly where he's at, again, because I don't have the utility. But more than likely, he's around this corner. He has to be. And he knows every move I'm making, and I'm jogging my speed because I want to throw him off from his torpedoes. There he shoots, so I know that he's right here, and there he pops up, and it looks like he got that set off on the left-hand side and is trying to make a play to get the last set of torpedoes off on this side. I wasn't planning on the ram, but I thought I was dead from the torpedoes either way, so I end up making the ram. Even though he missed all of his torpedoes, I think if I would have maneuvered correctly, I could have gotten around him and would have been able to have survived, but he's down, and almost simultaneously, our Worcester takes out the Alaska, and now we have clawed it all the way back, being down 7-4, and then 6-3, and now we have the advantage 2-1. So that play, taking out the Minotaur, which was very healthy, not only gave us the high caliber and the Confederate medal in the exact same moment, but now we have the Worcester, who is doing a fantastic job. Even though he's low and he just took a nasty hit from the Conqueror, he's going to stay behind this island. He's going to be able to get these shots off. He's going to be able to set fires against the Conqueror. The Conqueror's not going to have shots on him, and it's all thanks to this Yugamo, who is on life support as well. And I gotta say, as crazy of this as this game started out, nothing in my mind told me that we would have been able to have clawed it back, but we did, as the Conqueror's on fire 3 times. And this is going to be a win. as we barely outclips them in score. As you can see, it is insanely close. And if we hadn't taken out everything that like we did and made the plays that we did late game, this would have been a loss. But thankful that we were able to claw it back. I thought this was a really fun game. I've been saving on to this for a while. I actually had it as far back as when I did the Emile Bertin, the tier 4. But I was like, no, I'm going to save this, and I'll make this the Colbert video. So anyway, that is going to be it. So what a match. That was a lot of fun. Didn't start out that way, but it's always great to be able to snatch it back. So the high caliber, the Confederate, we didn't do a whole lot, but that shows that we did enough. Taking the top spot, and GG's to the Worcester and the Ugamo for being a tremendous support and clawing this game back. Fantastic job, guys. So that's going to do it for the French cruiser line. If and when they get the legendary equivalent that will match the normal heavy cruiser tier, we will definitely feature it, and we'll probably replace it with this video. And again, if you want to see another Colbert video, look at the link in the description or search for it in my videos. It's going to be, you're going to have to scroll all the way down, but it's like the third from the bottom. That was a good match too, and that is where that clip came from at the very beginning of my video. So thank you again, guys and gals, for checking me out and enjoying the video and my content. I'm going to keep bringing you more. And this is the USS Endeavor, signing off.